This is in the hologram of the money, the Iraqi money. How do you like that little beast with the horn between its eyes? A snake, a serpent with the horn. Now, of course, if you were to ask them what that means, it's like, look this way, it's like asking them, why do you have a moon on your mosque? Do you know how their answer? We're on a lunar calendar. So we put the moon on the mosque. That's not why the moon's on the mosque. The moon is on the mosque because Al-Ilat was a moon god. And in pre-Islamic days, his emblem was a half moon. And every mosque in the world, and even Islamic flags, have that half moon. Now, modern Muslims will tell you we're on a lunar calendar. That has nothing to do with idolatry. Has nothing to do with the moon. But the fact is, so if you ask them about this, oh, no, this is nothing bad. This is just an emblem from the days of Babylon. This is the... Well, if you don't think they're looking for the Mahdi, look at the next one. Why do you think in the hologram of the money, they went ahead and put the horse of the Mahdi? The white horse. Now, my point is, Sunnis and Shias both believe that this man is coming very soon. And they both believe, and I know some of the Sunnis will tell me in Israel, we do not know which nation he will come from. But the ones living in Iraq, Sunnis and Shias, both believe he's going to come from either Karbala, Samarra. Does those names sound familiar? It's where all the trouble is. What do you think the Sunni triangle is? The Sunnis and Shias are fighting over the Mahdi. And there's one problem they have. The United States is there, and as long as the United States is there, the Mahdi can't appear. And as long as democracy works, the Mahdi can't just come and take over. That's why there is such a hatred toward democracy. There's two reasons. Number one, a lot of the people in the Middle East see democracy as allowing homosexuality, adultery, liquor, and drugs in. And that is the fact. A lot of the people who are very moderate Muslims, they don't drink alcohol. That's better than some Christians. Excuse me while I preach here. They won't touch alcohol. They are... now I'm talking about moderate. We're not talking about the fanatics or whatever. They're very family oriented. They're very careful what they let their kids watch. And so, democracy gets in. What happens? MTV comes in. Drugs come in. The alcohol comes in. So to them, you're wrecking their culture. So we think of democracy. Our president says, democracy, give them freedom. Well, they like the freedom. The women don't want to wear the burqas. They don't want to have their head covered. They want to have jobs. They want to be educated. That's wonderful. But guess what happens? There is a good and bad side of democracy. You know what China told a bunch of missionaries? They said, we're praying that democracy will come to China. They said, please don't. Said, you destroyed Russia. Said the churches used to be all united. The underground churches were in unity. And said after communism fell, you preachers from the West went in there and started dividing it up like it was your territory. And now you've got people that are divided up of the same faith, and they're with this group and that one's with this group, and they're not even working together. Said we would rather stay under communism and be persecuted because we have full unity. That's what a leader told. Said the persecution makes us grow. How do you like that for a statement? Now my point is this. The Antichrist, according to the Bible, according to Daniel, and again, we could go another hour in this, and we're not going to do that, to really dig this out, comes out of that lineage of the Ishmael-Esau lineage. All the way, tracing all the way back to King, comes all the way through there. He rises out of the Middle East area. Because the Muslims are believing that this last leader is going to come from Iraq, please understand this, as long as we're there, he can't come. You know why? Because there's not going to be anybody overthrow that government while we're there. Oh, you'll get this in a minute. You'll get this in a minute. Now, when we pull out, Ahmadinejad in Iran already has his eyes on the southern part to annex the southern part into Persia. That's his plan. There's people out there that know that's what this guy's after. And you know why he wants that part? Because he wants to be able to introduce the Mahdi whom he claims he knows. Now here's where it gets real freaky. There's one man living on the face of the earth right now that according to some of the men in Gitmo Bay, according to computers that have been found, terrorist computers with information and script and writing and their little documents on it, there is one man living in a cave who's already declared himself the Mahdi, and his name is Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden thinks he is the Mahdi of Islam. And he laughs because he says, you've tried 6 years to get me and you can't get me, because the belief in Islam is the Mahdi is hiding in a well or a cave somewhere in the world and nobody can kill him and touch him. And I had a man from Iran tell me this. He picks me up and takes me to INSP all the time. He's from Iran. He said, Peter, you wouldn't believe this. He said the most popular name now in some of the fanatical Muslims, he said, it's not Muhammad or Ali or Abu, it's Osama. Every woman having a baby calls it. I said, really? He said, the poor people. He said, I'm telling you, in the Middle East, up into Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, he says, in the Middle East, Osama is a hero. They even call him the Mahdi in the villages all over. He said, not just one place, country after country. I said, how come we don't hear that on the news? He said, my God, they don't want to tell you this on the news. Your people would not understand any of this on the news. You have to be a Muslim to understand this. Now, I'm not saying he is this man, but I'm saying he's trying to set himself up as this man. Well, the world wouldn't accept him. No, the world wouldn't, but Islam would. You got to understand where this thing is going, man. You got to understand where this thing is going. So, I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that we're living in the times where these things for the first time can be understood. We're living in the time where we're taking this religion over here that is 1,400 years old, that's had all these teachings, and say, wait a minute. While what they're believing is what John wrote in Revelation, and they don't even realize it. And so I think we just need to thank the Lord that America is restraining the spirit of Antichrist and not even realizing it. You know it? Woo! Whew. This is an overload. Hey, what do you think about that money? What about that Iraqi money? That's something? Let's just worship the Lord for a moment. Let's thank God for Jesus. Thank God He's the Son of God. Raise your hands with me. Hallelujah. Lord, I thank